So I hear people saying that Pieter Groenewald should be the next president. Well, here's the problem with that. If he becomes the next president, the system will unfortunately allow him to fail. That's what it is. So here's the thing. As a as a minister, he's doing a fantastic job, right? But look at the presidents after 1994. What have they done for this country? Absolutely nothing, right? Unfortunately, the changes that he wants to bring for the country is not going to benefit him as a person. And people will say after a year or two, well, you see, we've appointed now Pieter Groenewald into this position and he's not doing a good job. So the problem isn't the president. The problem is the system that allows any president not to perform. Just think about that for a moment.
If Minister Pieter Groenewald become the next president of South Africa, there will definitely be some positives, such as less corruption if leaders are watched closely, a stronger parliament, and no single party will abuse its power. And of course, when there are positives, there are also negatives. Now, it will lead to slower land reform, and there will be policies that favor property owners more than the poor South Africans. Now, as a black South African, what should you really focus on when it comes to voting? Now, the important thing is that you should not focus on party names. Focus on policies that touch your life. Who protects service delivery? Who supports small businesses? Who fixes municipalities? Who create jobs and not just speeches? Now, voting is not about loyalty. It's about survival, dignity, and opportunity. South Africa is changing. The ANC is no longer guaranteed power, and every vote now matters more than ever. But fear should never guide your choices. Understanding the policies of that particular party should. Know the policies, watch the coalitions, and never vote against your own future.
We are now producing 3,800 loaves per day. We went from 23 rands per loaf to now reducing the cost price to 8 rands per loaf. The Minister of Correctional Services is ministering. Minister Pieter Groenewald is ministering, and it is about time we start celebrating excellence. We must stop celebrating people who are buying Gucci's. We must stop celebrating people who are buying Louis Vuittons. We must start celebrating excellence. We must no longer celebrate crime.
Our fellow South Africans, are we raising our voice enough to say enough is enough about this rubbish party of the ANC? Let us not be afraid to give this man a chance to run this country, because we are the weakness of poverty in South Africa. We are the weakness of unemployment in this country because of the ANC. Why we are afraid to give this white man a chance? Apartheid will never come back. As we say that we are enough, are we willing to move forward as the country? We are the weakness of this rubbish part of the ANC. When we send the message out there, they are unaliving us. We are targeted in our own country, which is South Africa is becoming Zimbabwe. When Zimbabweans, when they send a message out there, they've been unalived. So the character of Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe country is here in South Africa. When we try to speak up, they are unaliving us. As Ramaphosa has spoken like this, media should not influence people about the ANC. They must always say the good things about the ANC. While we are living in poverty, these people, they do not care about us. Let us give Pieter Groenewald a chance as South African citizens.
South Africans have had enough. They really have had enough of all the lies, all the deceits, all the corruption, all the stealing, all the mismanagement and misgovernment of the ANC. And it's time that we make a change, because it seems like South Africans are finally starting to wake up. They are finally starting to wake up to realize what needs to be done to make this country better, because we deserve better. South Africans deserve better. We are a great country and we deserve better trade, better housing, just all-round betterness. And I've seen multiple posts all over social media pointing to that man up there, Pieter Groenewald. Big support for Pieter Groenewald to become the new president of South Africa.
Black South Africans. Is your For You page full of, guys, I'm voting for Dr. Groenewald, Oom Groenewald, Mlungu Groenewald? I'm a little, I don't know if I'm confused or tintillated. I don't know, but like, I wouldn't have guessed. For the international audience, let me just paint you in the picture, right? South Africa has been a democracy since 1994, and as you know, we used to be an apartheid state. It was horrible. But we've come a long way now. We're called the Rainbow Nation. But I'm pretty certain a lot of white people around the world would hazard a guess, if you were a betting person, that the chances of Black South Africa ever voting for a white South African to lead us would be slim to none. Especially an Afrikaner, an O Afrikaner. He's an O-man. He's an old school Afrikaner. Think like a Nazi-esque kind of figure in Germany being elected by the left-wing Germans, the liberal Germans, to lead them into a better future, because there's something about this person that they go, we need you to pull us out of this rut we're in. Not to say that Groenewald, Dr. Groenewald is pro-apartheid at all. He's not. If you actually go and look at the Freedom Front's ideals of what this country needs, I don't know. I think I might even agree with a lot of what he's saying. It's just the optics of it. The optics of it are, he's an old Afrikaner male, so it's fully patriarchal, old school, old fashioned. And the people that are promoting him the most are Black South Africans. I think I'm now going to be the first white South African doing a TikTok video, a liberal white South African, saying, I'm loving this. I'm loving it. There's so many videos going, Groenewald, you've got my vote. You've got my vote. We need to bring back certain standards or principles. We need to be stricter on crime, corporal punishment, that kind of thing. I am a little bit shocked. But I'm all for this. I don't know what this means, but it's interesting.
You guys that want Groenewald in power, let me tell you the size of fire that you are playing with. In the 1980s, the national parties ran into a problem, okay? The international community started giving them pressure to reform the country and end apartheid, right? And they started having discussions amongst themselves internally as to whether maybe they should just decrease apartheid just a little bit, just a small bit, in order to remove the pressure from the international community. That decrease of apartheid would mostly be focused on coloreds and Indians, but they were going to just decrease it a little bit, okay? Now, but they were going to still keep apartheid. Now, some in the National Party were so against these discussions, they decided to exit the National Party and start their own thing. A conservative party that would be dedicated to iron fist in making sure that South Africa remains apartheid pro-max. Now, there's no record that Pieter over here was one of the founding fathers of the apartheid pro-max Conservative Party. But what we do know, though, what we do know is that this party came into parliament in 1987. And we know he was a very active part of the team that worked to get this party into parliament. How do we know that? Because in 1988, immediately after they went into parliament, they made him the mayor of Stilfontein. They rewarded him with that. Okay, and in 1989, he was elected a member of parliament representing the Conservative Party, which means he worked, this man, for this Conservative Party that fought tooth and nail to make sure that South Africa remains apartheid pro-max. In 1990, during the peace talks, this Conservative Party, of which Groenewald was part of the leadership of, it rejected the release of Mandela and viewed the peace talks as a betrayal to the Afrikaans people and to white people. In 1994, he and a few of his apartheid pro-max Conservative Party friends formed a party called the Freedom Front Plus, feeling that the reforms were a betrayal to white people and Afrikaans people. They formed the Freedom Front Plus. Today, Groenewald works for the party that believes that there is a white genocide here in South Africa. Today, Groenewald in parliament refuses to accept that apartheid was a crime against humanity. Today, he threatens that there will be a civil war whenever the idea of giving you back the land is mentioned. So go vote for him. I dare you. Go vote for him.